What's up, everybody? Welcome. I'm Derek. This is the RC Lawn Chair Pilots podcast. Okay, we're back. I'm just cleaning up some garbage. Hang on, because I know I'm in the video. Okay, so a little bit different format this week. I'm going to apologize for the lesser quality of sound. Instead of using my regular microphone setup, I'm just using the camera microphone. So you could probably hear my 3D printer running in the background, and in the next segment it's going to be terrible as well, just because things. But I've spent the last week in Georgia visiting family, so Stephen and I did not get a chance to record like we usually would, so instead he and I talked, and we decided that I would take the opportunity to interview my brother, who I was out visiting, who started into RC airplanes about the same time I did, so in 2016, but he did it while single and going to college, whereas I did it married, going to college and about to have kids. So he was able to dive in a lot deeper to it, and that led him down the path. He'll talk about it in our little interview. But that led him to the path of where he is today, building airplanes and actually working for a company that designs and manufactures autonomous reconnaissance drones. He explains it better in the interview. So I'll prep you there. That's going to be the majority of the portion. This will be a shorter episode because it's just me, and I've got to edit this as soon as I'm done recording it and get it out to you for tomorrow morning. So I've got a long night ahead of me. But real quick, just some what I have been up to. Week before I left on the trip, a lot of it was spent getting things ready, getting the yard ready. As you know, we've been working on that. But I did get some stuff. No, I already showed the Gentle Lady Wing. Never mind. I did none of that. I forget if I mentioned it, but there was talk of the FreeSky Tandem X20 transmitter that just came out, and that there was a solid chance I would be getting one. And because I don't remember, I'm going to say it anyway. I got one. My buddy at work, who's been giving me all these beautiful planes and just being my benefactor basically, he decided that he wanted to get back into it, so he ordered himself the Great Plains Tory. It's a 2-meter powered glider. Great little thing. Still needs to build it. But he also ordered himself the Hangar 9 Carbon Cub, the big 90-something inch wingspan, beautiful plane. Absolutely gorgeous. But he ordered himself that thing. It's not due for a while because it is on back order, and you know the slow boat from China, because Horizon Hobby is just, it's going to take forever to get here. But that's just the way it is. But he also wanted a new radio. Now he does have the Spectrum DX6i, same radio that I started out with. Great radio. Does a good job. Pause. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, I'm working on some 3D prints. Had to make sure my bed was still level and all that after being away. Which it is, surprisingly. Which is awesome. So my buddy, he's got the Spectrum DX6i, which it's a great radio. It's a solid radio. It does what you need. It's very simple. But he wanted something newer, better, bigger, grander. And I had talked to him about the Tandem X20. And he's like, yeah, let's do that. And I told him, like, if I had the money and if I hadn't just bought a radio a year ago, I'd be getting the Tandem X20. And then the next day, he walks into work and throws his credit card at me and says, buy 2. So I did. So now I have it. It showed up while I was gone. Thankfully, Steven has a key to my house, so he came and put it inside for me. And here it is. It is an absolute beauty of a transmitter. I've been playing with it today and a little bit last night, and my word, I'm impressed. It feels good in the hand. The hardware feels great. I'm really enjoying the Ethos operating system as I'm figuring it out. But yeah, so far it's pretty awesome. I've got an unboxing video that I'll put up on my channel, so SavageX89. I'll link to my channel because I don't have the video ready yet. It's just a basic unboxing, first reaction sort of thing. As I go through and learn more about it, I'll report back to you on it. So when we ordered this, we did get the combo kit from Aloft Hobby, so it came with the handshell grips as well as carrying case, essential, as well, and then it also came with the Archer R8 Pro receiver as well as a R9MX receiver, so one of the 900 megahertz receivers. I'm super excited because this radio will run 2.4 and 900 in tandem, so it effectively extends your range. They advertised 50 to 100 kilometers. Now that is beyond the visual line of sight and all that, but that's still freaking cool, because if you get into a place where there's awesome reception and signal, then you never have to worry about a brownout or anything like that. In theory. I'll let you know how that goes. So that's like the biggest thing that happened to me while I was down with my brother. We did take some time. He's got a discus launch glider as well as another cool plane that I'll leave for our little interview. But we got out, we flew. It's great because every time we've gotten together so far, we've gone flying. It's a great little tradition we have since he lives 6 hours away by airplane. So we did that, did our little interview. I've come home and now it's back to work. My family is still in Georgia enjoying the beautiful weather out there, and I'm back in Utah. But yeah. Oh, one other thing, fun thing. I decided to, I've found that Facebook Marketplace as well as the local classifieds are great places to search for local deals on airplanes. And I found this listing for a Gillows P57 kit, or P57, what am I? Gillows P51 Mustang kit, excuse me, as well as a Bonanza Beechcraft. And the listing was for 2 balsa kits. New in box, never been opened. That was the listing. I get there, I talk to the dude, he shows them to me. And first off, we have this beautiful little RE plastic model Bonanza Beechcraft, or Beechcraft Bonanza plastic kit, 1/72nd scale. Brand new in box, plastic kit, not RC, not balsa, but still pretty cool. I'll probably build this because plastic kits are kind of fun. That'd be a cool thing to put together and hang in the boys' room. And then the P51 kit, it's clearly been opened, and upon opening it, this is where it gets funny. There's a couple pieces of tissue, but then there are the build plans for the Gillows Lancer, because that's a Mustang, and then the overall layout drawing plan for the P51. And then a couple other doodads, a little bit of scrap tissue. So apparently this dude got both of these as well as a bunch of other stuff in a lot that he bid on. I have no idea. I didn't bother, and he's just like, oh, well, I have no use for these then, because he was not interested in the plastic model, and this is basically useless. And I'm like, well, if that's the case, I'll take the P51. That, like, at the very least, the drawing is cool to hang up, as I've done over there that you guys have seen in the backdrop of a lot of videos. Pause again. So yeah, I told him, like, if he's not going to do anything with the P51 box and stuff inside, the tissue's worth its weight in gold. I didn't say that, but it is. And the plans, yeah, they're cool to hang up and display. And he's like, yeah, go ahead, take it. And then he's like, take the Beechcraft too. Like, his kids don't want it, he doesn't want it. He got it in a lot. I'm like, all right. So I got this for free, and this was free, and they were listed for 15 bucks each, so I got a screaming little deal. I'm excited. Should be fun. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, that has been my adventures in RC. I've gone out and flown a little bit. In the interview with my brother, and maybe at the end I'll impose some videos of us flying. My brother is really good on that DLG. Like, he does a great job. He is a great pilot. I'm very envious. And then I got a cool video of the other aircraft, and we talk about that. So I'll go ahead, I'm going to stop yammering. We'll cut to that. So enjoy my interview with my brother. Hello everybody, I'm going to sit more in the frame. There we go. Hi everybody, Derek here. I'm not in my basement, as you can see. Instead, we are in a sunroom that is not at all sunny, because it has been a long day of travel, and we are finally home in Georgia with my brother. This is my brother Josh.
Hi, nice to meet you.
He is a real-life mechanical engineer in aeronautics.
I'm really more of an aerospace engineer.
That's the word.
More of an aerodynamicist even than that, but yes. Yeah.
So he knows how the airplanes fly.
Pretty much.
We just fly them.
Yeah.
So I figured I'm here in Georgia on vacation, as I don't know if I mentioned on our last episode. So figured I'd take the opportunity to chat up Josh and share his insight with all of you. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So what is it you do for work, and where do you work?
Yes. So I work for a small company called Area I. We specialized in tube-launched UAVs for the military. We'll put a link to our website in the description. But yeah, so we make tube-launched drones. They've been used for a whole bunch of stuff. We've got programs with the Air Force, Army, Navy, NOAA. Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. Lots of uses in ISR, oh goodness, what is that? Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance, I think is what that stands for.
Sounds right.
Basically, you got a fancy camera on the front of the drone that takes...
These things are awesome.
Yeah, takes good imagery. They can fly for like 3 to 4 hours. I'm not really describing it well, but yeah, Area I, that's what we do.
Fear not, there will be pictures right here
Oh, okay.
that I'll pull off the website.
No, great.
Because that
Love
way
it.
I'm not pulling any illegal stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not illegal, but most of the stuff...
Proprietary?
Yeah, most of the stuff we do right now is largely proprietary. Area, we've probably got about 80 to 100 employees at this point. We've been around for about 10 years. We actually were recently acquired by a company called Anduril out of California.
Right.
Anduril does a lot of stuff with melding artificial intelligence, UAVs, and the defense industry, kind of bringing that all together. And so we recently got acquired by them. So that's kind of some fun things that have been happening there. But anyway, yeah, so we've been around for about 10 years. Everything we do is very much development at this point. So there's a lot of proprietary stuff. But yeah, anything you can find on the website or on any articles online is what's available to the public.
Cool video of drone launching here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watching these things launch out of a tube is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, so that's one of the cool things. We're kind of the only people in the market that do tube-launched drones. There's a couple of other competitors like Raytheon.
Raytheon's a huge company.
It is. But if I may say so myself, we do it a lot better than Raytheon. So we've launched LTSs off of a whole bunch of different platforms, everything from C-130s to UH-60 Blackhawk helicopters to we've launched off the NOAA P-3. We recently launched off of the Kratos XQ-58. It's the
what?
It's basically an unmanned like wingman drone, so that you have fighter pilots that are flying, their F-22s or F-35s or whatever, and then they've got a drone wingman that's just flying off along them. So it's a giant drone, and then we put our little drone inside of the giant drone and launched off that. We've also launched off of the General Atomics Gray Eagle, and then a whole bunch of ground vehicles as well. We've done launches off of trucks, and we just did a launch this last week off of the Dagger. It's a light military assault vehicle. So yeah, we do a lot of fun stuff with that. Anyway,
a lot cooler than anything I do, even in my pretend life.
Yeah. So my job specifically at Area I focused all of my college studies on aerodynamics modeling and simulation. So, coming up with computer programs that can predict aerodynamics. If we say, hey, we have a wing that's this big, we've got a tail that's over here, our center of gravity's over here, what do the aerodynamics on that act like? So all my graduate research was focused on modeling that, and then taking that and putting it into things like simulations and stuff. So that's largely what I do at Area I, is a lot of our preliminary aerodynamic modeling, performance estimates, making sure that the aircrafts that we design are going to be stable. And then, as we continue development, then it focuses a lot more on simulation. So we've got a simulation environment that we've developed ourselves that we can, do our flights in, and we can tie in our autopilot, make sure that our autopilot is tuned properly to control the aircraft.
See, practice on a simulator before you crash a multi-million-dollar airplane.
It's not multi-million, but they are definitely more expensive than anything that we fly in the hobby. So Yeah. We do a lot of practice in the simulator before we ever actually go out and fly anything. So whenever we're launching off a new platform, I'll typically run hundreds of simulations, making sure that nothing unexpected is going to happen.
So there you go. Even the professionals use simulators.
Definitely, yeah. Because again, these aircraft are extremely expensive, and so if we were to just go out and crash one, which we do, it happens. We're in the research and development, prototyping phase. We're always trying new things, and so we're always crashing. If we weren't crashing, we aren't doing our jobs right. But we do a lot of simulation beforehand, and then when we actually go and fly, we have our own autopilot. It's got data storage and everything on there, so we're recording.
You got a black box,
data.
all the stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're recording things like our position, our velocity, airspeeds, how healthy is our IMU, the location solution, how healthy is that, how healthy is our GPS, how healthy is our motor, and we're logging all this information. So if we ever do have something unexpected happen, we can go back and review that data, find out what happened, and then fix the problems going forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
So that's also a lot of what I do, is analyzing that. Then on top of that, when we actually go to flight test these...
This is the fun part.
Yeah. So one of the things that I love about this company, like I said, it's a small company, Area I. And so we do a lot of, everyone wears a lot of hats. Like I said, I develop the aerodynamic models, I run the simulations, but then when we go to flight test these aircraft, I'm actually there at the flight test as well.
Yeah.
I have multiple roles. One is an air vehicle operator, so I can be the guy sitting at a computer on the ground station, commanding the aircraft, telling it where to go.
Oh.
The aircraft's autonomous. It
Yeah.
can follow waypoints, follows airspeeds, altitude commands. So I can be the guy, telling it where to fly and how to fly. Or I can also be an external safety pilot, so that's a guy that stands outside. He's got a RC transmitter in his hands, just ready to take full manual control if anything unexpected happens with the autopilot.
You are the oops button.
I'm the oops button, yeah. That's happened a lot less these days. When I first got trained up in that role, we were doing like a lot of manual landings and stuff, just to recover the aircraft when we were done with them. But we've even automated that. So these days, like, I had several flight tests this last week and these last few weeks, and I never had to take manual control. Autopilot did the whole thing.
This is very boring.
Pretty boring week for an external safety pilot. Yeah, I just kind of stood around.
But that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
It means systems are working.
It means the system's working. We did our jobs right beforehand, so we don't have to use the oops button.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of sums up the majority of what I do.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's a good time. If I can put in a plug there for going to college, it's worth it. Yeah.
Especially if you get all the scholarships, you don't pay a penny.
It's really nice. That was actually how it worked out for me. I had scholarships for my undergraduate, and then I got a research fellowship for my graduate degree. So I went to Utah State University.
He did it the right way.
Yeah.
He didn't take 9 years to get a bachelor's like I did.
Yeah, I took 3.5 years to get my bachelor's, and then I took another 1.5 years to get my master's degree, doing research with that.
Do it the way he did, not the way I did.
Yeah.
So,
but
nice.
It's nice. Anyway, so go to school, kids. Or if you're adults, consider going back to school, adults. I don't know what you're...
I'm too
like.
far away
Yeah.
along in life to be like, I'm going to start over.
Well, you can't not really start over, but always seek to improve yourself.
It's in the middle. Well, yeah, but there's improving yourself, and then there's going back to college.
Anyway.
I don't know. It's a lot of math. I don't want to do a lot of math.
Yeah.
I'm not good at math. Okay, so what got you... Well, he's on this podcast because of that and RC stuff. So what got you into the job that you're in now?
My research.
Well, excuse me.
Oh.
What got you interested in the field?
Oh, RC. That was the answer you were looking for.
Segue.
Right? No, so where that one actually happened was for my senior design project during my mechanical engineering degree in...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So for that one, I took part in the AIAA Design Build Fly competition. Really cool competition that they do. They have teams from a whole bunch of different universities across the country and actually across the world. Like when I was there, we had a team that was competing from Germany and another one from India.
Not something you could do during COVID.
Yeah. I think they did video submissions for COVID.
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
but kind of interesting. But yeah, effectively they give a challenge. They're like, hey, we need you to build an aircraft that's this big, that can do this sort of a mission. It needs to fly this many laps in this much time.
Funnily enough, it was tube launched.
Yeah, well, not tube launched. It was tube stored. So,
Oh, that's right.
My senior year, we did the competition. The challenge was to design an aircraft that could fold up and fit inside of a tube and carry a payload of like 3 hockey pucks. We ended up designing an absolutely horrid aircraft. None of us knew anything about aircraft design, so we designed what I like to call the eye in the sky. It had a wing across the front and a wing across the back and a fuselage going through the middle, so it looked like the letter I.
And wasn't the front wing on top of the fuselage and the back wing on bottom?
Other way around.
Oh,
Front wing
okay.
was below. There are aircraft that have, like a main wing or a light wing in the front and the main wing in the back. It's called a canard.
Yeah.
And those are tricky aircraft, but kind of cool. You get some cool benefits in efficiency and stuff.
Yeah.
Some drawbacks in stability. But they're really hard to design well. And so we ended up...
I'm sure the center of gravity balancing is a nightmare.
Yeah, and getting like the right amount of lift on your front surface, and so you get good stability. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we designed this like tandem wing aircraft was what we called it, and it just flew like garbage. So we were able to complete like 1 mission of 3, and it took us like 5 tries of just crashing the aircraft to complete that 1 mission.
Ouch.
But the benefit of that is that it exposed me to the hobby. This was during my senior year of college. And then, through that group that I was in, somebody introduced me to Flight Test, the company in Ohio that makes all the foam board airplanes. And so someone introduced me to Flight Test. I started watching a bunch of their videos. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I could get in the hobby for cheap. And so then, my parents got me an RC transmitter for Christmas. And then after that, I was just building foam board airplanes. I think I built something like 30 foam board airplanes in my first year of being in the hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot. He
Yeah.
designed a few too.
A few, yeah.
Weren't you flying before that?
No, so, well, okay, if you want very, very first RC experience,
Well, I remember the one that our Uncle Jason got
Yeah,
you.
so-
that we crashed in the
well, I
backyard.
got it myself.
Oh, that's right.
I
'cause
saved
he-
up a bunch of money, like, it was like $80, but for an 11-year-old kid, that's a bunch of money.
That's a ton of money.
So then I went and bought, I think it was the Aero Scout.
Yeah, it was a little. It was like a.
Firebird? Ah,
I
shoot, I don't
forget.
remember.
It was one of the pusher. It's
Yeah, high wing
pusher
pusher
prop.
with Vtol. Anyway,
Yes.
but it was like 2-channel effectively. You had throttle control for elevation, and then you had Vtol
Left.
mixing on the left right.
Yeah.
But anyway, I tried to fly it. First time I flew it, I crashed it, and it broke the tail boom, and I never got it to fly right.
Yeah.
After that.
I was there with you for that. We did that in the backyard.
Yeah. So that was my very
was
first
not a good
experience. And that was a terrible experience because I was like, wow, I just spent like a bunch of money and crashed an airplane immediately. This is a stupid hobby.
You held on to that plane for a long time though.
Yeah, kind of scrapped the parts and used them for other stuff. But yeah, so that was a bad first experience with the hobby. But then when again in my senior year of college, when I rediscovered it, it was like, oh hey, I could actually build these planes using like
Cheap stuff.
foam board, yeah, from the dollar store, $1 a sheet. I can have an airplane, and then like the electronics, I'm still using original electronics from when I started this 5 years ago. Like same motors, same ESC.
So you and I started right about the same time then.
Probably.
'Cause
When did I graduate?
I don't know.
What year are we in? Is it
21.
It's 2021.
5 years ago was
I've
16.
been in Georgia for 2 years, 2.5 years. Masters was 1.5 years. It's probably about 5 years since I
Okay.
got into the hobby.
So he and I started. We found Flight Test, I think, individually.
Yeah, he found it before I did, and I was mad at him after I discovered it because he didn't tell me about it, and he just kept it to himself.
But he's gone more deep into the Flight Test
I got
builds. He is. Well, so did you see that text that I sent you about the Flight Test forums?
Oh yeah, I responded to that guy on my YouTube.
Okay, cool.
There was a guy that was asking a question about one of my first aircraft that I designed.
He designed a 2-meter Vtol Toothless from How to Train
Yeah.
Your Dragon,
That was kind
and
of
it
fun.
flew amazingly.
Yeah, that was after I'd been in the hobby for probably about 3 months, and yeah, designed my own aircraft just to look like Toothless.
Well,
Didn't
yeah.
do any sort of aerodynamic analysis. I was just
No.
like rough dimensions from a picture of Toothless, and I was like, yeah, this will be good.
Well,
But
that's,
it was really exhilarating flying
yeah,
it for
well,
the
that's
first
the
time.
nice thing about the Flight Test design model is you can take their basic techniques and build whatever you want.
Mhm.
And foam board is so forgiving, you overpower the snot out of it, and it's
Pretty
going
much.
to fly.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And people are still building that plane. So.
Yeah, surprisingly. That was actually a really surprising thing for me. It was like...
Well, I remember the video. You were surprised it flew.
Well, I was very surprised that the aircraft flew, and then like I posted that and wrote a little article about it for on the flight test community.
I'll find it. If I can find the article, I'll put it in the bottom.
But,
okay, there
but
you
yeah,
go.
but a lot of people were very interested. Got very positive response. People were like, "Oh, you make a build video of this," and so then I was like, "Okay." And so a friend of mine had a video studio, and we made a build video, and yeah, and then just last week another guy was like, "Hey, I just built this. I'm having trouble with the CG," and I was like, "Why would you build that?" Looking back at it now, I've improved a lot, so that was a terrible design.
It was an ugly build.
Yeah.
It was scrapped together.
But
looking back,
it flew, and so anyway, it's cool to see that people are still building it. It brings me a lot of joy.
Absolutely. All right, so while we're here, it wouldn't be a trip out with my RC brother if we didn't do RC stuff. So we went out and flew this week.
Yes.
Pulled out his discus launch glider. He's got a 1 meter with ailerons and elevator. Had a good time. Reminded me that I do want another DLG.
They're fun.
I miss mine. I want to print. I destroyed the fuselage pod.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if I can't design and print a new one.
This is one that I gave to him.
Yes, he gave it. Well, no, you gave it to Jeremy. Jeremy gave it to me.
I gave it to you.
And I'm the one that actually got it fixed and running.
I flew it several times. If Jeremy broke it, that was on him.
Well, when I got it, so the fuselage had all those cracks where the boom meets the pod.
Yeah.
And it was wrapped in fiberglass string and then epoxied. And I actually fixed it so that was solid.
Well, I did have it flying when I bequeathed it to our other brother.
Yes, you did. And
anyway,
he flew it a couple times.
Yeah, so discus launch gliders are a lot of fun because you don't need a motor, you don't need to charge the battery. I charged that battery probably like a year ago, and it's still fantastic. But yeah, you just chuck them up and they fly for as long as you can. You really get a feel for like actual like aerodynamics trying to fly a glider because you don't have a motor.
Yeah, you have to rely on conservation of energy.
Pretty much, yeah. So we went and flew the discus launch glider, and then I also had a Vtol twin engine tail sitter that I built, designed myself and then built.
That is a loud engine that I guarantee they can hear.
Probably.
Hang on just a
So
second.
we got some fun neighbors.
All right, sorry about that. The truck's finally gone. Okay, so we flew one other plane. Josh, tell us about your Vtol project.
Yeah, so that was, again, flight test, I think.
It was like a year ago, wasn't it?
Probably about a year ago. They put out a video where they designed and built like this Vtol tail sitter airplane. And I really wanted them to release the plans for it, but they didn't, which is understandable. They got a lot going on. But then I was like, okay, I'll just make one myself. So I designed one myself. This one was actually unique because usually I just kind of slap my designs together from some like rough 3 views and drawing on paper and measuring stuff on the foam board itself. But this one I actually designed in CAD.
Oh, really?
Designed it in CAD and then took those dimensions and flattened them out and then used my CNC needle cutter to cut that out.
He has the same CNC foam board cutting machine that I do. I got mine because of him.
Yeah, it's really nice to have. Anyway, so then I like cut that out and built it. So yeah, and then I put a Pixox autopilot in it, and I'd previously done some, hover tests in the front yard. I can send you the video for that. You can put that in there.
Yeah.
So I did some hover tests in the front yard, and that went well. And then I was like, okay, and it kind of got set to the side for a couple months, and then family came out. And I was like, well, this might as well send it. So yeah, you can watch. This is us sending it.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so take off, waypoints, land. All right, let's do this.
start mission. Vehicle filter arm.
Yeah, okay. Very climactic so far.
Oh yeah. Now we're gonna try this.
All right, here we go.
Auto flight mode.
Okay, here we go.
Guided flight mode.
That was alarming.
That was quite terrifying.
It's at 130 feet. Fine.
Hey,
Hey boys, go stand over by Grandpa.
quick!
Go get in the back of the car. Go under the car. That's actually legit. Please do. Henry, go by Grandpa. Henry, go over by Grandpa now. Go, 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 go.
All right, it's transitioned into horizontal flight.
Oh, that actually worked.
It is going the wrong way? Kind of. See if it can roll left. That thing is flying super slow.
Yeah, it is.
Like our ground speed is like a foot a second. Oh, it's struggling. Oh, I think that the front of the hatch is loose.
That's a problem.
Yeah. But it's still airborne. Trying to come around to the right.
There it is.
Yeah, front hatch is totally loose.
It looks like a manta ray flying in the air. Oh, that wind. Okay, we've transitioned into vertical.
Yep, and now it's coming in for landing slowly. I'm so surprised it's airborne. We see how that front hatch, the nose is kind of pitched down?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. I did not think that that would need to be taped in place, but apparently it does. Yep. Oh,
Did you just kill it?
I just disarmed it on accident, yes.
Now it's getting interesting. Oh, it recovered.
Yep.
Where's it gonna land?
I'm going to send it over to waypoint 2.
Not yet, dude. Joseph, go back, please.
That hatch is garbage right now. I don't remember what the modes were.
That is hard to see. My word.
Okay, I think I'm going to try and take manual control of it.
All right, good luck.
FBW flight mode.
Oh, nope.
Manual flight mode.
That's a
Auto
nosedive.
flight mode.
That's a spiral of death.
Yep.
That is a landing. All right, we have contact. All right, so flight report, Josh.
Yeah. So the main problem was that the nose was kind of my hatch, right? So
Yeah.
I would put the battery in and everything, and then the nose kind of slid on. At one
There's
piece.
less water this way.
Okay, perfect.
Stay out of the water, bud.
And it looked like after it transitioned forward flight, the nose got kind of pitched down, like it slid off partway and pitched down, and so then we just had a whole bunch of weird aerodynamics going on, and so it was having a lot of trouble there.
Yeah.
But it actually stayed airborne, and it was able to fly super, super slow because a lot of wing area, so it was
Yeah, that was-
hardly moving in the sky.
It did pretty well given the breeze that we're dealing with.
Yeah. So all things told, kind of cool, but I had this idea yeah.
That
it
was the
didn't come
idea,
where we
bud, but
were.
it didn't work very well, huh?
Yep. So then at the very end, I was going to transition it into a manually guided hover mode,
Yeah.
but I flipped the wrong switch, put it into full manual. It started to dive towards the ground, and then
That's when we got our spiral of death.
yeah, and then it was like, okay, just disarm the aircraft and let it fall to the ground. It'll probably be mostly fine. But yeah, Joseph, please don't touch.
Yeah, bud. Yeah, come on.
Okay.
All right, damage report
Broke both props,
as expected.
and that's pretty much it.
That's not bad, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Like,
But
you want to try it again?
Why did the propellers break off?
Well, that's what happens
Hit
when
the ground.
propellers hit the ground really hard.
yeah. But
Was
I mean,
that fun to
aside from
watch,
that,
guys?
Looks like it was this left wing that actually impacted the ground, so that got kind of crunched in a little bit, but not too bad.
Yeah, like that hits. That's less damage than I was anticipating.
Yeah, me too. Kind of sad about it because I feel like I have to fly it again, but I don't really want to. I just kind of want to take it apart and move on to other things. So I'll probably do that.
That's fair.
Yeah. It did better than I was anticipating, but not well enough for me to want to keep it.
That's fair. All right.
Yep. I'm here for the engineering, not necessarily for the planes flying.
Good, fair enough.
Yeah.
So that was an adventure. We almost died.
Well, yeah. So when it took off initially, instead of going straight up like it was supposed to, the elevators were apparently too far back, so it took off upwards and pitched back towards us.
There was a breeze coming at us that direction too, so that didn't help.
Yeah. So, but thankfully it recovered and went up above us, and then climbed to about 300 feet, and then it started its transition to horizontal flight. It started its path, but unfortunately the nose that was on it, it was kind of a fuselage cover. I kind of just slid the nose on.
Mm-hmm.
But when it transitioned, it looked like the nose, instead of being, so let's see, if we're in horizontal flight, the nose would be pointed like this.
Yeah.
Instead of being pointed like this, the nose got twisted like this. So it's basically a flat plate mounted on the front of the aircraft. So that was throwing everything off. So, but it still flew.
It flew great.
It flew
I
extremely
was very
slow.
impressed.
Wasn't tracking its path as well as it could have been, but
Well, when you have a flying wing with twin props doing differential thrust, it kind of. I've noticed that those tend to have a hard time tracking when they're doing autonomous flight.
maybe. I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with the autonomous flight. This is like the second
I've watched a
aircraft
couple
I've
other
looked at
guys.
something.
Yeah, I've watched a couple. There's a guy on YouTube that has done a couple, and when he's done them on flying wings, because of just the bank and yank nature of a flying wing, it has a harder time keeping in line because it'll get blown off course, so it'll try and correct, and it wiggles around a lot.
No, I kind of wanted to try again. Anyway,
I'll link you videos.
yeah. But anyway, the flight ended with me trying to put it into a manual hover mode. Basically just a manually guided like hover mode, but I accidentally flipped it to full manual. And so then it was like, oh, and now it's tumbling. And then I was like, okay, well, let's try a different mode. And the aircraft was moving so slow. It was super light wing loading. That was intentional. But it was just, floating to the ground super slow, out of control. And I was like, maybe I'll try this mode. And so then I tried that mode, and that didn't fix it. So I was like, okay, it's 20 feet off the ground. I'll just disarm the motors and let it hit. And so then it hit the ground.
Spiral of death.
Yeah, the two props broke, and I kind of dented one wingtip, but that was the only damage. Unfortunately, I don't care about this aircraft anymore, so I'm going to take the electronics out and build something else. Because that's what I do.
Well, and that's the nice part. It's probably max $3 in foam board.
I think that one was $5, but you get the idea. Yeah.
Like one motor is full of mud. That's the only other issue.
Yeah, but brushless motors are waterproof, so I can just hose it off. Yeah.
There you go. So, good times have been had.
No.
Hopefully, if you're seeing this sometime Monday, that means I stayed up late and edited it. If you're seeing this Tuesday, it means I was tired. But we'll see. So, Josh, thank you for taking time out of our family-filled weekend. And let's go back to game night.
Yep. See y'all later.
And there you have it. The interview with my brother and our good times in Georgia. That was good fun. I should have ended the episode properly with him, but it was game night. I was running out of space on my memory card, and I was tired. It was a long day of driving that day. So, with all that, remember, when flying inverted, up is down and down is expensive. RPM is how hard you hit the ground, and torque is how far you have to dig to get it out. See you guys.